Hi, everyone, and welcome to Book Club with Bay. I am Bay, and this is Bay. Say hi, Bay.
Hi, Bay.
And this is other Bay. Say hi.
Hello.
And today we are talking about New Moon, the second book in the Twilight Saga.
Yes, we are.
And last time we said kind things about the Twilight Saga. So disclaimer for anyone who watched that and was possibly horrified by kind things we said about the Twilight Saga. Everything we said was confined to the first book.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're talking about this book.
Which New Moon is like my least favorite.
It's going to be very different from the tone of the last stream. Right. So, stan or don't stan? How do we feel?
Okay, while there are parts that I do stand, parts, I think as an overall general theme, I do not.
Yeah, this is my least favorite one of the whole series, so I don't
this is my least favorite one of the whole series too. So like, also it's the most, you know what, maybe Breaking Dawn is more boring because there are parts of Breaking Dawn that hurt, but also don't stand.
But also this one's just so stupid.
And also this one's very underwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
I vividly remember that being one of my very first impressions of this book was that I was just under fucking whelmed.
Yeah, I mean, I was slightly overwhelmed with feelings of rage, but again,
we know.
As a general view of the book, I would also,
underwhelmed.
Underwhelmed.
And food ratings. I don't know that I. What I compare this to? Go.
You know that scene in Legally Blonde after her and what's his face break up, and she's sitting there watching trashy TV, eating like that big giant heart-shaped box of chocolates.
Yes,
it's that. It's that scene.
It's a what are they called? Nonpareils, I think, something like that. I don't know. I only know the name of it because of a Lil Dicky song. It's fine.
I think I'm going to go with a rice cake.
Well, I was also about to say, or it's pureed food. Which I guess...
Gross.
You know what? The rice cakes can be nice if you have some sweet chili Philly on them.
Yeah, well, okay. A rice cake alone. Just a plain rice cake, because it's kind of like, all right, because like they're not terrible, I guess, but you're also really
you need toppings
and you're fucking bored and you wish you were doing something else or eating something else.
Mine was very similar. I was thinking like pasta, but with no olive oil, no salt, no sauce, no cheese, nothing.
Just
and it's refrigerated.
Pasta. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. No, that's a good one.
No butter, nothing.
What kind of pasta though? Because if it's what if it's fun shaped pasta? Then at least you have the fun shape.
No, just spaghetti. Just like
okay.
Because because that would even like stick together and just be horrible. Like
angel hair. There we
go. It's a big cold angel hair ball.
So then it's also like boring and weird, and then there are things to complain about. I like it.
I just thought of that one. So
yours is the best. I'm stealing it.
Yes.
I take back mine, and I'm stealing Addie's.
This was... I mean, okay. I will say, when it comes to whether or not a love interest is behaving appropriately, like, or fairly to the other person, I think that it clicked in this book. I've now taken the approach of, would I be okay with either my son or daughter behaving this way, or / someone behaving this way to my son or daughter? And I would not approve of any girl treating my son the way Bella treats Jacob.
Yeah, but honestly, poor fucking Jacob.
Yeah, I know.
It's like Like, seriously, her biggest thing towards him is, I guess you, like, I guess you're a decent backup boyfriend.
Yeah, like, you work purely because Edward isn't here.
So,
and I'm really lonely and you want my nards. Like,
real quick before we get into it. Spoilers ahead. But you fucking know what happens. Like, I don't.
Everyone knows what happens.
But also, I have to say it because it's book club. Spoilers ahead. This is book club with Bay, not spoiler-free book review with Bay. But also, you know what happens, so like, fuck it. But so there's a couple things I want to say about this because we've touched on this before with book club, and it's something that I lovingly like to call BookTube bullshit. Which
yes. Oh my God, yes.
And this is one of the perfect examples of BookTube bullshit, which is, and it can be, and BookTube bullshit is not necessarily book 2. It's just typically the book after.
It's typically book 2.
But it's typically book 2. But it's typically book 2, which is why I've dubbed it BookTube bullshit, which is when two people get together, especially if it's a romance novel. It doesn't have to be a romance novel, but after two characters get together, they break up for no fucking reason because we need something to do. And that is BookTube bullshit. And this is like BookTube bullshit to a T. But this is also like another issue with romance novels that are a series that don't follow different pairs. So there are two types of romance series. Romance novels. It's like a series of romance novels that follow the same pair of people the whole way through, and then a series of romance books that hop couples every book. So you're always reading about a new pair of people. And I feel like those work better because, you know, you always have to come up with like a new problem once you get them together, which always makes like the love story feel super fucking toxic. And then after you go through BookTube bullshit, then you have to be like, making it toxic, or do I like let them be happy? And now I have to come up with a plot, but I'm a romance author. I don't do plot, which is fine because you're a romance author, but now you have to do plot, and that's scary. So it works better when they hop like couples and people together. And I think that's like one of the biggest issues with this is like getting them together was fine, but now what do you do?
Yeah, like, and I feel like that's one of the biggest issues with having the romance be the primary plot, not the subplot. Because, like, at least when it's a romantic subplot, like, for example, I mean, I know that things still keep them apart throughout, like, even after they get together and stuff. But, for example, in Vampire Academy, Rose and Dimitri, at least in the first few books, is very much more the subplot as opposed to the plot. And because of that, she has the luxury of making it take 3 books for them to hook up.
Yeah.
So it's like when the romance is not the primary plot, you can stretch it out. So even if like they do finally get together, you have the option of being like, well, now they can just be a couple.
Yeah.
That, and then also
like in Mercy.
And also at the same time, like, I'll say this as well, having people break up or even spend time apart or having them temporarily break up when the plot is thicker than just the romance, it makes more sense usually.
Yeah,
you know, because there can be like an actual plot reason why it happens, but like in the like we'll get into it and talk about it, but typically in romance novels it's just because like the person said something and then you said something and then it's like, it's usually, it's almost always, I'm bad for you. Goodbye. I'm too big.
I'm leaving you to protect you.
Yeah, it's almost always, I'm leaving you to protect you. And she's like, no, don't. You don't have to protect me. And he's like, I must protect you. And she's like, no, don't, please. And he's like, I have to. And she's like, no, but I love you. And he's like, I love you. That's why I must go. And then we have to sit here for an entire half a book of bitching and moaning. And that's what this book is.
Well, this one is literally like 7/8 bitching and moaning.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, because Edward's in the beginning and then he's in the end, and then the middle is just.
But even like half of the beginning, when half of him being there in the beginning and half of him being there at the end is still like, but he doesn't love me.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Like. I texted you guys about this, but we'll get to that bit when we get to that, because I feel like this one we can actually do a bit more.
We can
discussion.
Yeah, we'll actually
cover more structured.
We'll actually cover the plot and do it structurally. Bo, also, I wanted to mention this. We got a comment on the last stream that we should do Onision's books.
Oh, I saw that.
He has books.
He has 3 of them.
Oh god.
Oh god. Do they have audio?
No.
Oh god damn it.
And
are they what are they published under his actual name?
Yeah, they're published under Onision.
Jesus.
Onision. Okay. I'm going to see if I can locate them.
Oh my god. This book club list just gets longer.
Okay. Onision is Onision, yeah?
Yeah.
Is this opaque enough?
No.
We're done. No, I need more.
I think you
sorry, I'm not looking at you.
You think I need another one? Okay. I'll do another coat. Oh, it really sucks when you have to adjust your hair and you're like, I have wet nails. I can't touch my head. So my hair's just gonna look like this.
Yeah, it's like Stones to Abigail, This Is Why I Hate You, and then something else.
Sorry, yeah, I saw This Is Why I Hate You, and it's on someone's, like, you know how Goodreads has like different bookshelves and it tells you what different bookshelves the book is on?
Mm-hmm.
This Is Why I Hate You is on worst books on Goodreads. It's got less than 2 stars.
Oh yes.
I know they're
like a
bad.
good palate cleanser.
Oh, I want to do it now. Oh, is there even ebooks of them though, or are we going to have to buy the physical books?
I think that
no. I am not paying $15.
Are there physical?
For the Kindle.
Are there ebooks?
For the Kindle of the second book is $15 Australian.
What the heck?
Hold on. One moment. Is there no other way to get it?
Okay, the first book on Kindle is $4. I can do 4.
Yeah, we can justify that.
I don't think I'm doing 15 though. I can't.
No.
Yeah, 15. No.
Okay, and the third book is I don't think they're related because they're not related on.
They're not. I know that they're not related.
Yeah. But the third book is $12.
Yeah, I'm not paying $12.
We'll look into options, okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, great. This is the downside to me being at my computer. I get to deal with this bullshit.
So, and Pat, we would do those because this was book club where we do good books sometimes, and then also other times we torture ourselves. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Cough, cough, the haunted vagina.
That was
a thing.
That was weirdly exactly what you expected to be, and yet you're still not prepared.
Nope. It was exactly as advertised. And I wasn't ready. But what I am ready... Oh, Addie, we need to talk about, before I forget, because I was going to tell you this before we went live, but I forgot, so I'm going to say it now. We need to talk about D&D stuff before we...
Yes, I was thinking that too. We can set up that stuff tomorrow evening if you want to.
Good.
Dope. All right. Shall we get started, ladies?
Yes.
Yes. So
let us begin.
All the Twilight books from memory, at least the first 2 so far, but I'm pretty sure all 4 of them start with a preface. The first one was a snippet of Bella's mind from the ballet studio.
I think so.
Yes, and this one is when Bella is running through freaking Volterra, trying to stop Edward from sparkling in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we just start. And now it's time for party. So what month does spring break happen in before? Because I'm gonna have a rant, but I need
like
to
March. March is spring break.
Okay, no worries. Done the math now. Thank you.
Do you want to see how long Bella sits in her room for? Is that where you were?
I am comparing the length of her relationship with Edward because we find out because spring break happens in here and she's like, oh, wow, this is exactly 1 year to the day since, I almost did a dead in Phoenix and Edward and Bella had only been together. That is now their ship name. Okay,
that actually is a good ship name.
Edward.
Not gonna lie.
They got together just before the whole James things happened, like within a week. That happened like within a week. She moped for almost she was catatonic for almost the exact same amount of time as her entire relationship.
It's high school. That's the only thing I have to say about that. But I think I got over all my high school boyfriends faster than that. It took only. It didn't take long.
But you don't. In high school, you don't seriously just refrain from speaking for 5 months because your boyfriend of 5 months left town.
I'll never stop thinking about how in the movie they just go around the circle of her just sitting there through the seasons, and I'm like, this is so stupid.
How long were they together?
So they got together just before spring break. About a week before spring break, they officially got together. Okay, maybe 2 weeks. And
yeah, because it was right before prom that they got together, or it was like they were dress shopping
later. No, that was for the girls' choice dance.
Oh.
That happened about almost 2 months after because she still had the cast on, but she was mostly recovered by that point.
Oh yes.
And when did she start being catatonic? Let's see. Let's skip forward to the month listing, shall we? Oh, come on. I skipped it. My bad. I think it starts October, so she would have gone catatonic in September. Yeah, October, November, December, and she wakes up mid-January. So September, October, half of September, October, November, December, and half of January. Jesus. So 4 months then.
So they were together for 4 months?
No. So we'll say March, April, May, June, July, August. 6 months. They were together for about 6 months.
I can't pick up my vape, guys. Oh, I got it. Okay.
She had known him since the 18th of January or whatever, because, they mention a date.
Yeah.
She'd known him since mid-January, but they didn't get together until just before spring break.
Yeah, till March. I have no words for the high school drama.
That's a long time to be catatonic.
Catatonic for especially with how intense their relationship was and stuff. A week, maybe 2, But then
and then upsetty for a little while longer.
Look, even when you're an adult and you're in a real relationship, you don't stay catatonic for that long.
Well, no, especially because if you're an adult, you got shit to do. You can't be catatonic for that long.
Yeah, I mean,
and also hopefully you have friends that don't let you and will thrust alcohol down your throat.
Yep. Yeah. And take you to a bar.
Yeah, hopefully you got a friend that's gonna take you clubbing or something. So even as an adult, that's unrealistic.
Yeah, I feel because Angela is supposed to be her good human friend. But I feel like Angela is just as bad a friend as Jessica.
Yeah.
Because Angela just let Bella just sit there and not talk to anyone for 4 months. A good friend rocks up to your room, slaps you across the face, and drags you outside.
Yep.
Yeah, or like a good friend is like fucking ice cream. What do you want? Ice cream.
Do you want
Pringles? What the fuck?
Should we go at Colin's house?
Yeah, like
Yes, we should.
Murder, gain 5 pounds. How do we want to do this?
We just need to get it.
We got options. I'll make you a PowerPoint. Like, bitch.
But alas, no, that doesn't occur.
Which leads me to believe that Bella has no friends.
I really don't think her human friends are actually her friends now.
Honestly, they're just set dressing.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah, I know that Angela has a bigger part in the next book. I can't remember what part. I just remember, like she ends up because Angela ends up being friendly with Alice. And I think they go shopping for prom dresses together or something. I feel like that happened. But
yeah,
in general, no, Bella's only friends are vampires.
And I mean, here's the thing. I think we all understand feeling like we just want to be catatonic.
Yeah.
I think we understand feeling that urge. But good friends, friends don't let friends be catatonic, okay?
And also, you don't, people, widows don't sit there like that for that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to the beach, go to a bar, drink out, something. Get a drug habit. I don't know.
Get a drug habit.
Widows
literally anything.
Their husbands die. Edward just left town. But we start the book with Bella having a dream.
Also, real quick, TJ doesn't support drugs, by the way. Don't get a drug habit. That was an exaggeration. Smoke cigarettes if you must.
I tried to. It's fine. What's a little recreational rehypnol amongst friends?
Don't do drugs. I'm not.
Unless they're legal in your state. If they're legal recreationally in your state,
they're not legal recreationally in my state. So just to cover all bases, don't do any kind of recreational drugs. Except nicotine if you're over the age of 21, apparently.
21, woohoo.
21?
Yeah, they changed it to 21.
Oof. Okay, is that just you can't, people can't sell it to you if you're under 21, or you're not allowed to have it if you're under 21?
You're not allowed to have it if you're under 21.
Okay, because here it is, you cannot sell or provide nicotine products to people under 18. But it's not illegal for someone under 18 to have them.
It used to be that you could smoke cigarettes at 16, but you couldn't purchase them.
Yeah.
Until you were 18, and now it's that nicotine is illegal for anybody in the United States if you are under the age of 18.
I have to be right back real quick. I'll return.
You're fine. Okay. Because people kept vaping black market THC products, and they kept getting.
They do realize that black market THC has nothing to do with nicotine.
No, they don't.
They're two separate products.
No, they don't know that. I was watching a thing on Wired, and it was a doctor talking about medical myths, and he was talking about vitamin E acetate in vaping products. And so I looked it up. And yeah, that's actually what binds the THC in black market e-liquids.
Yeah.
So if you buy THC e-liquid, so basically if you buy a weed vape pen that is illegal, that's how you get that. So if you go to a vape store to get nicotine e-liquid in something like this.
Yep.
It's not in any of these.
Well, one of the funny things as well is like one of the things that they keep bringing up about why vaping is a million times worse than smoking and stuff is they're just like, well, because the oil, it settles in your lungs. And I'm like, you know how you vape oil? When you vape oil, this is not oil. This does not contain any oil. You know what is oil? When people vape THC oil.
Right, like people are confusing THC oil with
this.
It's not the same thing.
No, it is.
And we know for sure that is completely different and that is not safe.
Yeah,
for a number of reasons, and for the
oil,
and because of the binding agents that they have to use. So we know that that's not safe.
But that's just like saying that one should not eat red meat because food. Well, this is going to be a faulty analogy, but one should not eat any food because red meat is bad.
Right.
They're both foods.
And at the same time,
like, it's all food, but they're not the same thing.
And at the same time, I mean, the three of us vape. I think we can all acknowledge, there haven't been as many extensive long-term studies because it hasn't been around as long. But what we do know is that for people who smoke, vaping this, not THC products, is much less harmful than smoking.
Yeah,
and that's what we know right now. And yes, we can do more long-term studies, and I'm in full favor of that. Also, don't vape if you're pregnant or you're trying to become pregnant or you're nursing.
Oh, we're still talking about vaping?
And I will say as well, like just from my own personal experience, so this is completely anecdotal, but I used to be a pack-a-day smoker, as was Stixie. And he had a really bad smoker's cough. Mine was mild, but getting there. You walk really fast and your lungs feel like they're being compressed. The only time I cough and have the compressed lung feeling now is when I'm sick, which is normal.
A lot of people have anecdotally reported that. A lot of people have anecdotally reported that as well.
Like, I don't know if it's doing more damage or not, but at least the physical symptoms of it are non-existent.
And a lot of people have reported that things like nicotine patches and stuff like that haven't worked for them, but vaping has.
Yeah. So yeah, they're trying to make it illegal to import nicotine juice now because we can't buy it. It can't be sold here, but we can import it still.
Mm-hmm.
And it was they went to ban it federally, I think last month, and the bill's been pushed back to January. So hopefully it'll be stopped before then.
Yeah, here they were, doing like all the flavor ban stuff, and then COVID happened.
So that put everything on hold.
And then everybody kind of just forgot about it and talked about it since.
I will say, like, I try not to be too much of a conspiracy theorist, but considering like all of the press were banned from the UN vaping conference, like they were banned from like almost all of the talks, and that thing was funded by tobacco companies. It kind of does make you feel like mayhaps there's a bit of an agenda.
Well, it's really complicated, but there are certain bills and stuff and how states like get kickbacks and funding from the taxes attached to cigarettes, and those same taxes and deals are not attached to vaping products. And then also tobacco companies have started coming out with their own vaping products, which is fucking ironic. And then yeah, like I said, on top of that, what I thought was really kind of funny was that they decided that they were about to like almost totally ban vaping. I mean, except for vaping like tobacco flavored juice. And then COVID happened, and they were like, so anyway, vape stores are essential businesses. They can stay open just like
and
menthol.
Stores. Menthol was still allowed, which is why I was a happy camper.
Because that's all I vape.
That's all I vape too.
Straight up menthol.
It's not all I vape. I vape cotton candy, but like,
yeah, I've tried.
But you could go to menthol. It wouldn't be
the end of the world, but
yeah, I've tried other flavors, and unless like they've been menthol based, like maybe the only non-menthol flavor that I've really liked was I can't remember what it was called, but it was like choc mint. You know, just had like a little bit of choc taste to it, but it was still mostly fresh.
Yeah, I don't mind menthol. Like I could have lived with that, but
it's nice. It's nice to have your options. Okay, it's nice to have options. How dare you? And it doesn't make much sense for the US to be as grr about it as Australia as well, because like we have Medicare, which is like universal health for 80% of medical stuff, I guess. And so like the taxpayer isn't but the taxpayer isn't funding, you know, your lung cancer treatment if you get it, whereas the taxpayer would be funding mine if I got it. Yeah. So it doesn't make as much sense for the US to be as anal about the whole thing.
Protect the children, Mara, the children.
Well, you know what you do? You make it illegal, and then you find people that do it bad. Okay, like you make,
and then it's just gonna get
kids and done.
I mean, my argument about like the children has just always been that the kids that are vaping right now are the kids that were smoking in the 80s.
Oh, they're the kids that were smoking 5 years ago.
Well, right. But I mean, you know, if you want to go with the aesthetics of it all, I mean, they're the kids that were wearing leather jackets and smoking in the 80s. Okay. And you're always going to have like the rebels that are going to smoke or vape or whatever.
Yeah.
And the thing is, given the studies that we do have, would you rather them be smoking cigarettes or vaping?
I would say vaping.
They're going to do something rebellious, okay? And do you want them vaping black market THC or Juul? If it's about harm reduction, that's all I'm fucking saying. Think of the children, Karen.
Anyways.
Do you want them getting a high or doing cocaine? Karen. Like it's a nicotine high or a black market THC, Karen. Under your thumb, Billy's gonna do something rebellious.
Very true.
That's all I'm saying. All right. I would know. I was Billy.
Back to our regularly scheduled programming of New Moon.
Yeah. So
we started off with a dream.
Oh, yeah. The dream first.
Bella more or less just has a dream of her being old and Edward still being young, and then she wakes up like, God damn it, it's my birthday, and she's furious.
Yeah, she's very upset that she is going to be 18 while Edward is only 17. So she's very upsetty about the fact that she's older than her 100-year-old boyfriend.
Physically,
although at least like we talked about last time, in this sense, it does work because the emphasis on the age that the vampire was when it vampired is more important than in other vampire lores. So,
yep,
like we can at least give it that.
And her vampire family throws her a party. The Cullens are like, "Hi, Bella, happy birthday!" And she's just like, "I want to be a vampire."
Yeah. She pulls the adorable teen thing where she hates her birthday.
Yep.
It's very, you know what? Very, very on point with the target audience. So kudos to Stephanie.
At this point as well, out of the Cullens, only Edward and Alice are still in school. They are now all seniors. Rosalie, Emmett, and Jasper graduated, and they are now cover story in college. But they're not actually in college.
No, they're just chilling at the
We've already done high school. Yeah, Emmett and Rosalie have been in Africa because I guess that's where you want to go if you're a vampire. Like, let's go to one of the least rainiest places in the world. Oh, also the other vampires, they're in Alaska. We were trying to work out if they were Canada or Alaska. They're in Denali in Alaska.
Okay, that works. But then Bella she's opening a present, and she gets a paper cut. And Jasper decides that it's time to try to eat her.
Honestly, like, it looks so ridiculous in the movie because, like,
I know, because she's like, oh no,
and then everyone's like,
Jasper's just like,
that's how it's written, though.
But it doesn't read as
it's really cringy and ridiculous
words, and it's just like Edward.
You can imagine how his face.
Also, the narrator. Let's just talk about the narrator for a second.
Yeah.
So Edward, like, Jasper's about, like, Edward can read Jasper's mind, and he's just like, oh fuck, Jasper's gonna pounce, and he's like, no, and he roars it. Apparently, according to the book, the words written on the page, no, Edward roared, whereas the narrator is just like, no, Edward roared.
I don't like that.
No. Yeah, it was like, you like whined it. No. Edward whined.
I also hate the way the narrator says Bella. Just every time it's Bella. Bella. Hi, Bella. I hate it. I hate it so. I hate that name so much because of this narrator. Did you pick up on that?
Yes. Yeah. No, it's bad. It's I think the only reason why it's almost because it's like everything. I think it's just the everything because it's that, and it's mostly the male voices. It's the fucking cadence. Like, I can't with the cadence because it's the no, it's the Bella thing, and then it's just
the fact that every male voice sounds like a woman.
Because instead of dropping her voice, she changes the cadence to try to make it sexy, and it's
not.
And it's weird. Instead of being like sexy or male, it gets higher and weird, and it's uncomfy.
I don't like that.
It's really uncomfy, right?
It is.
Am I describing that accurately?
Yes, you are describing it accurately. Give me 1 second.
So then Jasper, Bella ends up getting like a cut in her arm.
Because during the kerfuffle, she gets
that's a great way to describe it.
Yeah, it's a kerfuffle.
Also, sorry, before this happens as well, Bedward.
Yes.
Keep meaning to say
what is their official ship? Do they have an official ship name?
I mean, if it's not Bedward, it should be.
Edward and Bella ship name. Edward, it is.
Yes.
Oh, you're right.
We stand. Okay, that we stand.
They're watching Romeo and Juliet before they go to the party thing, and Edward's like, oh yeah, if I was ever to do a suicide, like if you were to die when I thought you were going to die, I was already planning on my own suicide, and I was going to go to the Volturi and be like, hey, kill me, or I'll do something that'll make you kill me.
Yeah.
So we get that little nugget at the beginning.
We get that lovely foreshadowing.
Also, I don't know if you know this, guys. Not you guys, because you guys have read the book. But Romeo and Juliet is just eat it, because it will. If you don't eat it, it'll be shoved down your throat very unpleasantly.
Yep. Honestly,
the allegory for this book is Romeo and Juliet. So fucking eat it.
Yes,
eat it for breakfast.
And Jacob is Paris, because what if Paris and Juliet were friends?
fucked up my nail when moving my computer.
I'm sorry. We love that.
I'm just gonna rub it until it feels better.
I'm sorry, nail. A moment of silence. Anyway,
right? You didn't break it, did you?
No, God, no.
Okay, good.
I just fucked up the nail polish.
That's what we can live with.
Yeah, that we can live with.
Yeah, so Emmett and Rosalie take Jasper outside, and because he's snarling like crazy, Esme's like, nope, can't deal with this blood, and she fucks off, and so does Alec. Like, it ultimately just ends up being Carlisle
and
Bella's arm, and Edward's like, I want to stay, and Bella's like, fuck off, and go make sure Jasper's fine, okay? Go. I don't want you to eat me. And she's like, fine, so he fucks off as well. And then
I would like to point something out.
Yep.
If you're a vampire,
yes,
okay, and you're intermingling with human society, like, I don't know, say, going to high school.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't do anything to get yourself used to smelling blood. Like, right. I don't mean to bring up the whole girls on their period thing.
No, the period thing has been explained. Stephanie Meyer has already covered that.
Yeah, but
I don't think she does it in the book.
What?
No, I think it's like an FAQ on our website.
Blood.
What?
Like, it smells dead.
Yeah.
Period blood smells dead.
Okay, this is not in text, though. It's not in the book, so it doesn't fucking count.
Yeah.
So it's not
an afterthought.
I know, but I guess, though, like, who wants to, like, put that explanation in their book?
I don't give a fuck. It's not. It's there. You know what? It's tissue, but it's also blood. There's blood in there too. So I don't give a fuck.
But a uterus tantrum tissue blood.
You cannot look me in the eye and tell me that these motherfuckers can be around high school girls who are bleeding without trying to eat them. And then also a paper cut and then go crazy.
Because one thing I didn't get as well, like, I can imagine, right? Especially Jasper, because he is the one that has the most difficult. Like, they've already established, Jasper has the hardest time controlling his urges because he was a bad vamp for a very long time until he was a goodie. So, you know, he's still getting used to it. And especially Jasper, I would think he would be incredibly well fed prior to dinner. Like, he munched down on 5D before Bella came over.
Well, I would also be like, here's another thing I kind of have an issue with on that subject is just, if he is that bad over a paper cut, and the other thing is, like, you know, it's a high school, right? Small injuries like paper cuts and stuff like that. You don't even notice when that shit happens. It happens all the time. Mm-hmm. Especially, like, if you have football players and shit like that constantly. You couldn't have him in a school surrounded by people.
No.
Why is he in school?
I don't think she thought the trigger for Edward fucking off. Like, maybe if Bella had stacked it into the punch bowl of her own volition, you know, because she's a klutz, we know this. She could have just stacked into the crystal punch bowl herself.
Because if it was like a major thing,
I get it if she's like bleeding profusely, like that. Cool, you know.
But also sometimes, most of the time, paper cuts don't actually like draw blood. They're just like, oh shit, my skin has split.
And you know what? The ones that don't draw blood hurt the worst.
They suck. But yeah, like, if she had, because we know she's a klutz. So because like we said last time, her falling down the stairs and breaking her leg, they were like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And so if she had just yeeted into the punch bowl, you know, severed a fucking artery, we would have been like, yeah, on point. And so that could have worked because, you know, I can understand, like, most of the time you're cool, you're chill, but then, like, gushing blood everywhere. All right, that's an issue. But, you know, in most vampire lore, any vampire that's been around more than a few weeks can also, like,
control themselves.
So
especially if they freshly fed, and all of the Cullen's eyes, from the sounds of it, were, because I don't think we discussed it last book. Yeah, so when a vampire's eyes are at its brightest when they've fed. If they drink human blood, they're bright scarlet. If they're quote unquote vegetarian vampires like the Cullens, it's like a topaz color. And then the longer it's been since they've fed, the darker their eyes get, all the way to black. None of the Cullens are described as having black eyes in this scene.
Yeah.
Like, they're not hungry.
I mean, it would be like, and this is at least the analogy I think of it as, it would be like if you walked into a room and you saw a plate of, like, freshly baked chocolate chip cookies. You would, like, fucking want them, but
especially
you wouldn't.
Before you've had to eat tofu.
Yeah, especially if you've been eating tofu. Yeah, right. But you would be like, all right.
Sad face, but...
Yeah, it's like, will someone die if I eat the cookies? Yes, I can refrain.
Yeah. Yeah. It's literally like if someone has a gun to your best friend's head and they say, if you eat this bowl of cookies, your best friend dies. You'll be like, I'll stick to tofu.
I deserve a Best Friend of the Year award, but I would resist chocolate chip cookies.
I would resist.
I would.
And again, like, it's like, look, I don't feel satisfied with the tofu I just had just now. Like, I just finished eating a big bowl of tofu. I'm not satisfied with it, but it's enough. I'm not starving. It's okay. Like, if you were absolutely starving, like you hadn't been fed in 2 weeks, the cookies might be a lot harder to resist, but I'm sure you could still manage.
Right, because, like, if you were going to kill somebody as a result of eating the cookies, I think you could then, and then it was like the tofu's in the other room. I think you could super speed to the tofu.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if it was like
Cullen's house back onto woods.
Yeah. I mean, and that's just one of the things but I also understand that, like, you know, in lore, the thing is, like, it's harder for vampires to resist. So I get that. And if it's specifically hard for Jasper, what I also think is a bit unrealistic is that for, like, vampires that explicitly don't have that issue, like Esme and everybody, and literally everybody else, that's what I also kind of
well,
like, because, like, in the Vampire Diaries, it's like Stefan, you know,
if Jasper is that sensitive, then yeah, he wouldn't have been in school.
Yeah,
he would have been homeschooled.
But anyway.
But so then Edward's like, ooh, she's in danger because I want to bone her, even though I shouldn't be able to. But, you know, they have an explanation for that, too. So then after the party, Bella's like,
vampires should never get to bone anyone, but
venom is their blood. Okay, whatever. And so that's how they get boners.
Venom is their blood. That's how they get boners. That's the explanation.
Yes, it's like the venom. Anyways, so Edward is being all like,
then how does he have spooge?
It's just venom. It just spooges venom. I think that was the actual description.
But then she would be a vampire instead of pregnant.
How does Edward?
No, I know what it is. The logic with this is flawed as well, because I read that, like, okay, like, whatever sperm you have inside of you when you turn, you still have, so you can knock someone up. But there are vampires within the general universe lore of Twilight that have knocked up multiple women, and it usually takes more than one go to knock someone up. So, like, how would you impregnate multiple people if all you have is...
but sometimes, one time's all you need.
No, I know, but there's some vampires that have knocked up more than like the guy at the end, of the series and everything. I'm pretty sure I read that he's not the only one of his, like, he's got siblings.
He's not. There are others of his kind. Yeah, there's others like
he's got siblings. And so how would a vampire knock up multiple people?
How many splooges do you have in you before you have to make more?
I'm pretty sure it's usually like one.
It's just you got one.
You got one good splooge, and then you have like maybe a couple of ones that didn't quite make it out that time, and they'll come out the next time.
And then how do you have siblings?
That's what I'm saying.
Because you know what? Okay, sorry to invoke the Vampire Diaries TV show here, but at one point Damon says to Elena, as long as I have a healthy diet of, because she's like, you can eat like fries, because he's eating fries next to her there in the bar or whatever in Atlanta. And he's like, as long as I keep a healthy diet of blood, my body functions pretty normally, and that's all you need. Because their heart's beat and everything.
Their hearts beat.
It's all you need.
Like, TV Vampire Diaries is probably like the least problematic when it comes to sex, because it's the only vampire lore that I've read, like, with actual vampires, not, you know, like living vampires, like Vampire Academy or House of Night or whatever, where they're still living, breathing beings.
Yeah.
But like where they're actually dead, it's the only one where their body's still, like, their heart still beats, their body's still functions.
So that means there's still blood. That means you can get a boner.
One that I've read, they are dead, but they still have like blood in their bodies, but their hearts don't beat. And so what they do to get a boner is they just push blood to their boners. And I'm like, that's dumb.
Like mentally, they're just like, hey, blood.
They just direct their boner. And I'm like, no. And then
you know what? I prefer the ones that offer no explanation, like Buffy. Buffy offers no explanation as to how vampires bruise or get boners. And I'm fine with that.
Because the other thing is, like, they cry pink tears and the splooge is kind of pink. And I'm like, why the fuck? And then...
What book is this?
The pink tears sounds familiar, but that could just be a thing that has happened.
No, we read one of these. We read one of these books.
What is this book?
Is that the one with the electric chick?
Yes.
Tell me what this book is.
I'll send it to you.
Okay, cool.
But and then like
it's a romance novel.
It's a bunch of romance books, and like they're fine, but the vampire lore is freaking. Like it's problems, because also they don't have to breathe, and so they don't have to breathe to talk, but you have to breathe to talk. That's literally how talking works, and that's dumb. And one thing
that's how it is in this book too, Twilight. They don't breathe.
One thing that Mercy does well, at least, is it's like, well, Stefan doesn't have to breathe unless he wants to talk, because at least Patricia Briggs understands how talking works.
Yep, and talking is literally the exhalation of breath.
And it drives me nuts that every time, like, she talks about talking in those books, she's like, vampires don't have to breathe, even when they talk. I'm like, yes, they do. You can't make that noise unless
there's air hitting your vocal cords.
Through your vocal cords, it's just, it doesn't.
Like, even whispering, which doesn't involve your vocal cords, whispering is still the exhalation of breath.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
Oh, well.
Anyway.
So, Alice stopped showing up for school. And
Edward's being weird. He's watching football with Bella's dad. And this is one of the things I've read when you texted us.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Bella comes home from work because she was at work. Edward's been a bit off the last couple days, you know. Like, we know what's up. Bella's like, I don't know what's up. And it's like, Bella, you're an idiot. But, you know. And she comes home and Edward's sitting on the lounge watching TV with Charlie, and Charlie's like, "Oh, there's pizza in the kitchen," and Bella's like, "Okay," and then Edward doesn't get up to follow her in 10 steps into the kitchen to get pizza, and Bella's like has a panic attack. She freaks the fuck out because Edward is not following her off of which I get he normally would. Like, it is a red flag for their relationship, but that in and of itself is a red flag for your relationship, and it pisses me off. If you cannot cope with your, like, if it's a sign that something is wrong with your relationship, that your boyfriend is having bro time with your dad instead of going to get pizza with you from the kitchen, your relationship is unhealthy.
I'd like to add something. Something that you definitely want is for your boyfriend to be able to have bro time with your dad.
Yeah, I can just imagine if I was so codependent that, you know, like when Stixie used to sit outside having a smoke with my dad and I'd be like, I'm going to go get a drink. And he'd be like, okay, and just stay sitting. And then if I freaked out and had a panic attack thinking we're breaking up because of that.
I don't think you and Stixie would still be together.
No.
If you did that.
Like, he would dump me like that, even with kids. He would leave me.
Take the kids.
He would leave you and take the kids. Yeah.
You would be like, you're not fit to raise my children. Yeah,
like I'm gonna go find someone who's not crazy.
Like my dad, it was a couple weeks ago, but we were talking about something at dinner, and then he went upstairs and grabbed like an old rifle out of his closet, out of my parents' closet, and brought it back down. And that was it. I didn't see my father or my boyfriend for 2 hours.
Well,
that's normal.
Yeah, I was like, fair. Whatever. I was like, you know, that's fine.
Yeah, like even if you're like, I don't see Edward being a big fan of football, right?
No,
he likes baseball because that's a fun game for him to play, but there's never been any mention of him being remotely interested in football. However, it's still not weird. I mean, again, for them it is. I get that for them and their relationship it is weird. But in general, if your boyfriend does not like football, but he's sitting on the lounge watching football with your dad, it's not weird. He's trying to bond, okay?
It's
normal.
It's literally a good thing. Like, yeah, like I wasn't upset about it because I was like, oh yeah, that's okay. Like that's fine. I'm like, they're cleaning an old gun together. I'm fine with that. It's fucking fine. I went upstairs and did my nails.
Yeah, right. It's like I can do other shit.
I was like, oh, okay, I'll just go do something else.
You know what's healthy in a relationship?
Space.
And this is why Bella can't cope after Edward leaves, because she doesn't know how to exist without him.
Oh, we're getting there. To her. We are almost there.
We are almost there. Okay. So then it's the next day and they're at school again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
also Bella's convinced. Sorry, Bella is also convinced at this point that Edward is thinking about it's time to turn Bella and we'll go be vamps off into the sunset together. So she's preparing herself mentally to leave Forks.
Yeah, but then Edward is like, we're leaving without you.
Before we get here, I do want to say that the gender swapped version of this, because we're not going to read it, the gender swap version of Twilight ends with male Bella or whatever.
Beaufort?
Yeah. Whatever. It ends with, well, I'm just going to use the normal names. It ends with Bella becoming a vampire at the end of Twilight.
Yeah.
And it's a much better wrap up.
Yeah. Well,
to the story.
I'm pretty sure that's how she was originally planned. Like, I think from memory, like her early ideas of it was only going to be Twilight. But then it was going to be Twilight and Breaking Dawn. She was like, no, I want them to get married and have a kid. So she was going to do 2 books. And then she was like, well, we need some stuff for in the middle. So then 4 books.
Yeah.
I think I would have been happier if it was just Twilight and Breaking Dawn.
Like, well, then we wouldn't have had to deal with this clusterfuck. Like, Jacob was never going to be... Jacob was never going to be a love interest until she turned it into 4 books.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Twilight, like reading it, like I don't really like the gender swapped thing, just because it doesn't read as nicely. But she does fix a couple of small things that were originally in Twilight, because hindsight 2020, I guess, and so it's a little more solid, and then also ends with Bella becoming a vampire, and so it's just like a nice clean wrap up.
Yeah.
And it's a much more satisfying ending because you're like, we don't have to go through New Moon. This is great. But anyway, that's
alas, here we are with.
But now here we are.
And in this conversation, Edward is like, I don't love you anymore. We're leaving, all this like stuff to break her heart to like make it a clean break so she doesn't try to come after him.
The first he takes her into the woods.
Yes, he does take her into the woods.
Like only like not far, like he wasn't being a jerk. Like he knows
it's behind her house too.
Yeah, you can see her house from where they are. Like he didn't take her into the middle of nowhere to dump her.
Which in the movie he does.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, movie Edward is a dick.
Yeah. Well,
he knows better.
Yeah. Yeah, book Edward is much better. But so he leaves her, and this is the long catatonic state. Enter catatonic state.
Yeah, so he's like, nope, that's it. And she's like, no, don't leave me. He's like, well, I have to. And then he like does his vampy run, and she tries to follow him, and she gets lost and then just falls over and just doesn't move until we find out later until a werewolf finds her.
Yeah.
And then he carries, like, it ends up being Sam. He carries her back to the house. And then we get October, November, December. Time passes.
Yeah.
Honestly, is this not, wait, where, let me find this freaking, like, you know, like when you're like an angsty teen, like this quote is so deep. But as an adult, it's just so ridiculous, especially given the context of she got dumped. Okay, that's it. And it's months later. Oh, come on. Where is it? No, I went too far again, guys. God damn it. Because unfortunately, my ebook is not, chapterized. Okay. Time passes, even when it seems impossible. Even when each tick of the second hand aches like the pulse of blood behind a bruise. It passes unevenly, in strange lurches and dragging lulls, but pass it does, even for me. She got dumped months ago.
I literally hate this one. I hate this book. Like in the context of the series, I hate it.
That quote is this book.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it feels reading it too. So essentially, yeah, she's just angry and upset because her boyfriend left.
No, she's not angry or upset. She's just sitting there.
Nothing. She's nothing.
You say, Bella, would you like some food? She goes, yes, please. And that's about it. Like she does her homework. She goes to work, but she doesn't talk to anyone, doesn't ask any questions, monosyllabic answers. That's it.
She's having nightmares because she's depresso because her one true love left her.
Also, Bella in this book with like her vomiting and crying and panic attacks and nightmares over the tiniest little things.
Yeah.
Just got so tiresome. But her nightmare that makes her wake up screaming every night is just her running through a forest.
Yeah.
And months later, she's still having it, waking up screaming every night. Just running through a green forest.
And eventually, Charlie gets very worried, and he's like, do you want to go live with Mom? And she's like, no, because if Edward comes back, he'll come here. He won't come to Mommy. He'll come to here.
That's just like, fine.
Not because I love you, Dad.
But because fucking Edward.
And so she's like, fine, I'll he's like, but you don't do anything at all. And she's like, well, do you want me to get in trouble? And he's like, honestly, you getting arrested would be better than this. So yes, I would like you to do something.
Yeah, honestly.
And she's like, fine.
Like, get a coke habit. Like, I don't do it.
Get a coke habit. So don't get a coke habit. Don't listen to TJ.
I'm saying that this is what Charlie said to Bella.
Okay.
I don't encourage heroin or coke, okay? You don't drink Coca-Cola. I live in Atlanta. Coke habit. That's what I
mean. Then this is when the whole Jacob thing begins.
Well,
cheers to that.
Yeah, no, she
we love it.
Yeah, so she decides she's gonna go to the movies with Jess first.
Yes, she does.
Oh god.
So they go to what is it? Port Angeles?
Yeah,
Port Angeles?
Yeah.
And that's where she almost got attacked last year at about the same time. and they're at the movies. Bella wants to see, like, they watch a zombie movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're on their way to get to McDonald's, and Bella sees 4 guys at a bar that look vaguely similar to the guys from the previous book. And she's just like, oh, look, it's them, and starts walking towards them. And then she starts hearing Edward's voice. And then she's like, oh, well, I'm just going to keep walking towards them then. And Jess is like, what the fuck, Bella? You're going to get raped.
Jess is like, you are a really bad friend, Bella. And you're going to get raped. And I'm just going to stand here because you're a shitty person right now.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Bella also has a panic attack in the movie because she realizes that the zombies on the screen is what she turned into instead of a vampire. So she has a panic attack over the zombies. Not because they were scary, but because she sees herself in them.
Yeah.
Because this book is Bella the Panic Attack.
Yeah. This shouldn't be called New Moon. This should be called New Panic Attacks.
I'm not gonna, like, the titles have nothing to do with anything.
Oh, well, but they all do get a special mention in each of the books. The first one was like, Edward's like, Twilight's the best time for us. And this one was like when she's in the forest. And she's like, I couldn't even see the stars in the cloudiest town in the US. I couldn't even see the clouds. It must have been a new moon.
Yeah, I mean.
Sorry, I couldn't see the sky. It must have been a new moon. I'm like, or, it's just cloudy.
Yeah, or it's just you live in fucking Washington.
It's actually easier to see the stars because, like, you
don't have that big old light.
Because there's not, like,
there's no light pollution.
There's a really bright full moon will cause light pollution literally from the sky. So,
yeah. No, Bella, it's because you are in Forks, which was specifically chosen for the series because it is the rainiest place in the continental US. Like, it is the least sunny place in the continental US, so I don't. But anyway, then she's like, okay, well, I'm going to stop going towards these guys. Now maybe I should do something. But doing something stupid / dangerous / whatever makes me hear Edward. So
also, we should go ahead and do out. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just saying, so let's do that. That's Bella's plan now. She's going to start doing stupid shit to hear.
Yeah, get adrenaline rushes.
We should also go ahead and point out this is not made clear in the movies. So if you're only familiar with the movies, you might not know this, but it's made very clear in the books. She's just hallucinating this.
Yeah, he's not actually, like, appearing to her with mind juju. Like, it's all a figment of her imagination.
Yeah, she's
aware of that.
This. Yeah, she knows this. And so you know it the entire time too. So in the movies, that's not clear. So a lot of people have a problem with, like, if Edward could just appear to her, why didn't he just come back if she knew she was in danger? It's because that's not what's happening. She's just like hallucinating.
And she's also at this point mildly convinced that Edward never even existed. And so that's the only way that she can be like, oh, Edward actually was a person. Cool.
Oh, yeah, because Edward, she had photos of him and stuff. He cleared out all of the shit that had to do with him.
So then she starts hanging out with good old Jake.
Yeah, because she's driving a truck and stops and sees 2 old bikes on the side of the road, so she gets them. And she's like, Jake works on cars. He can fix up the bike. Sound logic. Like, it sounded like I was mocking that train of thought.
Yeah, no, it is sound. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I am aware that a car is not the same as a motorbike, but however, if you don't know anyone that works on motorbikes, but you know someone who can work on cars, then it's not illogical to see if they can do it.
Yeah. So then she brings him to him, and he's like, yeah. Because Jacob's also younger than her.
Yeah,
Jacob's like 15.
What, 16? No, I think he's
15 in the first book.
Yeah. So Jacob's a child, but he's gotten tall.
Yes, and he's getting ripped because he's about to wolf out.
Yep.
His hair's still long at this point, I believe.
Yeah, he doesn't get it cut off until he wolfs out.
He joins the cult. Yeah.
I really, like, I just want to see a wolf with long hair because I just think it would be funny to see, like, a fucking Like
well, that's one thing I'm curious about as well. Like, it would also depend on the law, but does your own body, like your human form hair, like hair on head, body hair,
that's why,
like if he shaved his head, would he be a bald wolf?
Well, that's why they have them cut it short, because like his hair being
it doesn't say that though.
I think it does.
It doesn't. At least not in this book. Maybe in a later one.
Did.
No.
I could have sworn it does, because like I have a bias towards long hair, so I was like offended when they cut it off.
He didn't look good with it though. Taylor Lautner did not look good.
Taylor Lautner did, but like
he could have if they had a better wig. I don't know. We will never know unless because that wig was the worst thing I have. Like,
it was bad.
They had I'm sorry. I was under the mistaken impression that Twilight had a budget.
The first one didn't. It was an indie movie.
Oh, it actually an indie movie? I know it was an indie director.
Yeah, it was like an indie project.
Let's see what the budget of the first Twilight movie was.
I don't think
that's on Wikipedia.
I don't think it had like a huge budget, because also like the vampire craze started with Twilight, so I don't think it was there yet.
Oh, but wait, let's see. 37 million. Are you telling me that in that 37 million they couldn't have pulled out an extra $1,000 to get him a decent wig? I know that like a really good wig costs about $10,000, but they spent $30 on that thing.
Well,
yeah, right. They went to Amazon when it didn't really exist.
New Moon's budget was $50 million, Eclipse was 68, and Breaking Dawn was 110.
For which one?
Oh, that was two. That was
two.
No, that was Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Oh, okay.
Breaking Dawn Part 2 was 120.
20 of that 120 went to Renesmee's CGI.
Yeah, honestly.
So,
like, I do know as well, Breaking Dawn was originally going to be one movie. It was scripted as one. They'd started shooting, and then Harry Potter had so much success with breaking Deathly Hallows into 2 movies. And I'm like, well, Deathly Hallows literally had to be 2 movies.
Yeah.
They couldn't. You couldn't trim any of. There was no fat to be trimmed in Deathly Hallows.
Yeah.
So they had to do 2 movies. But Harry Potter is also what started the trend of Part 1 and Part 2 for saga endings.
Well, that's like the thing with Breaking Dawn, is that what made it so long, they didn't even put in the movies. Like, what makes the book long is not in the movie. You know?
Well, they dragged out scenes that did not... Like, half of the first movie was their honeymoon.
Yeah.
And that was, what, like 2 chapters?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, like, because Breaking Dawn is in thirds.
Mm-hmm.
And the first third is...
the wedding and the honeymoon, probably.
Yeah, the first 2/3 of Breaking Dawn is the Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Yeah, and then the last third is Part 2.
There's 3 parts.
Part 2 of the movie.
Oh. Yeah, Part 2. Yeah, the last third is Part 2.
But they skip over Breaking Dawn. I mean, they skip over Part 2 of the book.
Yeah, they skipped so much
not even in
from
there.
The book and just added so much random shit and dragged other shit out, and I don't get it.
Well, yeah. Jacob teaches her how to ride a motorcycle.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, he fixes up the bikes. He's clearly got the hots for...
He has a raging boner for Bella.
And also at this point, it's very obvious. Like, she is very clearly using him and his boner for her just so that she can hallucinate.
Yep, for her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, like that. And that's the situation.
She recognizes her feelings, but she's like,
I like her. What else? Yeah, what else am I supposed to do? Yeah, and but
not
Bella
be a bitch.
Like Bella even says, like, you know, I don't hurt as much when I'm around Jacob. He's like my son. She starts referring to Jacob as her son.
Well, like, I mean, he kind of will be one day. Yeah, I mean, you're right. But like, also, he also will be her son one day. So,
well, there's also like, can you?
I forget when this. Oh, sorry.
Like, I mean, I imagine, because Renesmee is so fucking perfect in every freaking way, apparently, that I imagine she'll be completely understanding about the entire situation. But imagine having to have that conversation with your daughter about her life.
Oh, I made out with your mom.
Like, oh yeah, like.
I don't know if it was because you were an egg.
You know what? We'll link it up with Kristoff and be like, Kristoff, give us instructions on how to have the "I made out with your mom" talk.
Yes,
he did such a good job.
He did. He was like, your mom didn't make me want to die for her as much as I want to die for you, or whatever it was.
I had a raging boner for your mom, but my boner for you could cut glass.
Yeah, like my boner's even harder.
My boner for you could level armies. So my boner for her, I could have taken out one man. My boner for you, armies. Like, there you go. That's how you explain the situation.
That is perfect.
I had a boner for your mom. My boner for you is bigger.
To be fair as well, like, it's actually literal with Jacob. Like, his boner for Renesmee is what actually created the alliance. They had a truce. His boner for Bella gave them a truce. His boner for Renesmee gave them an alliance.
Yep. It worked out.
My boner for you was more politically powerful.
Yes. So meanwhile, there's people disappearing in the woods, being blamed on a big old bear. And
animal attacks.
Yeah, Charlie's like, hey Bella, don't go to the forest anymore. And she's like, no, I'm going to go find this field that Edward took me to once.
Yeah, she's like, sure thing, Dad. And then as soon as he leaves the house, she goes into the forest. Because also by this point, Jacob is no. Oh, can we just, because we skipped ahead, can we just talk about Paul Mike for a minute? Paul Mike Newton. He tries, like, he was, beginning of this book, you know, he was trying to look like Edward, but he'd stopped trying to bone Bella because he finally got the hint that he would just never be as cool as Edward Cullen. But he's trying, damn it. And then as soon as Edward is out of the picture, he just sidles on over and he's like, hey, sup? And Bella's like, no, thank you. And he's like, but please. And she's like, how about we do a group movie? And he's like, okay. And then the group movie ends up being Mike, Bella, and Jacob.
Oh, yes.
Because everyone else had to
was
cancel.
That before this?
That was before the field thing because she has the confrontation with Laurent while Jacob is MIA.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Okay.
And then so they're seeing another gory movie.
Because that's that's the Meadows where she meets Laurent, yes.
Yeah, and the two of them, those two boys, bless them. Mike's like, let's listen to music, and Jacob's like, Bella doesn't like music, I know it better than you.
It's literally of a whose boner is bigger.
Yeah.
That's literally what this is whose boner for Bella is bigger.
And then poor Mike gets the stomach flu, like he already has it, but he doesn't get to the symptoms till the movie, and then poor thing. So they have to leave the movie early and drive poor vomiting Mike home. And then Bella's like, Jacob, you're so hot. Like, your skin, not you, your skin.
Yeah, let's make that distinction very clear.
I think you should go home. And he's like, okay, I guess I'll go home then. So he goes home, and she's like, call me when you get home, though, because, you know, it's going to rain soon because we're in Forks. And she's like, and she's sitting there by the phone from the second she gets inside because she needs her son back because he's gone. You know, because Bella cannot exist on her own. So she's like, it only takes 15 minutes for me to drive to La Push. And he drives faster than me, and it is now been 17 minutes. What happened, Jacob? So she calls him freaking out. His dad answers the phone. He's like, he's fine. He's here. He's not well. He'll have to get back to you. And Bella's like, excellent. Okay, thank you. And then Bella's sick. So then when Bella's feeling better, she calls Jacob and she's like, "Hi, Billy," and he's like, he's still sick, and she's like, "But I feel better. Why doesn't Jacob feel better?"
Yeah, no, we fucking hate Bella this book, man. She's insufferable.
She is insufferable.
And the next 2 weeks is, and then because Bella's like, "No, he doesn't have the stomach flu. He's got mono." And she's like, "But that's from kissing. Who was he been kissing?"
It's like, you don't even fucking like him. You don't like him.
And she's like, "But he's my
You're
Jacob."
using him to get to your figment, Edward, of your imagination. You don't even fucking like him.
But he's my Jacob. Okay.
But you don't even fucking like him. Insufferable.
Like Bella in all of these scenes has a mad vocal fry because she's that insufferable.
Yes. But then she goes to the meadow and Laurent's there and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing here? You don't have your escort." And she's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm on an errand for Victoria," and so because now Victoria wants to murder Bella because Bella and co murdered her mate James. So now she wants to kill Bella to get revenge.
Yep.
Like a mate for a mate, it makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
But then Laurent's like, "But you know, you're here unprotected, which means that Edward don't love you no more. So maybe she won't be mad if I do a killy kill."
Yeah, it's like, I'll make it less painful than what Victoria has planned for you.
I'll tell her I tortured the fuck out of you, but
in reality, I'll just until you're dry.
Which honestly is like that's a good deal.
Yeah, it's a good deal. But then we got a wolf pack.
And Bella's like, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna die," which fair.
Yeah, totally fair.
I would, because she's like, "Oh god, the animals," because animal attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Like every good vampire story, unexplained animal attacks.
Yeah.
Vampire Diaries. Sorry.
Yep. And they chase Laurent.
And Bella is hella confused. She's like,
"Why are they not caring about me?"
She's like,
"Why does no one love me?"
She's like,
"How come I didn't die?"
Not even the fucking wolves.
She's like, "Not only does nobody love me, no one wants to eat me."
Oh, fucking Christ.
Somebody eat me.
Yeah. So now Bella spends the next fucking week bitching, like freaking the fuck out that Laurent's gonna come back because she's like, "I don't know why he ran, but he's killed all those wolves by now, so he's gonna be back and kill me."
And he's gonna tell Victoria. Yeah, which totally, she's fair. At this point,
I would be freaking out too because at this point she has no protection.
Yeah. Because she doesn't know yet.
Because the
Jacob's still not
like
taking her
yeeted.
Yeah, Jacob. Yeah, because Jacob's in the middle of his changing and chopping off all that wig.
Yeah, but she's also
he's having his wig snatched.
He's just I'm free.
He's getting sister snapped. He's busy.
So and Bella's like, "I want to go out to a push and be like, WTF," because Billy's just being really vague with her if he answers her calls at all. And she's like, "But I can't go to La Push because I don't want to lead Laurent or Victoria there." And it's just like,
which is one of the first selfless thoughts she has.
I know, but then she clicks because one of Jacob's friends earlier in the book, she met him, and then he just disappeared. And Jacob's like, "Oh yeah, he joined Sam's cult." And they're like, and she's like, "Oh no, the cult got Jacob." So then she rushes over to La Push and she's like, "Jacob, I want to talk to you. Why are you so culty?" Because the rest of the cult are there. And she's like, "No." And she starts screaming at Sam, "How dare you take him away from me?" Blah, blah, blah. And Jacob's just like, "Bella, I think it's time that you left. Mm-hmm. I was wrong about them. You need to leave." And she's like, "But you're my Jacob. How will I not be miserable unless you..."
Back to insufferable Bella.
Yeah.
No. But Jacob also alludes that he knows the Cullens are vampires at this point.
Oh yeah, like he really straight up says, like, "What, now that your bloodsuckers are gone, do you want to be friends with me or something?"
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "How did you know?" And then she goes home and she cries herself to sleep because Jakey doesn't love her anymore. But then he rocks up at her window and he's like, Bella, let me in. And she's like, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. And he's like, no, seriously, the bridge is about to break. So she lets him in. And she's like, what's wrong with you? And he's like, I can't tell you. And she's like, why not? Don't you like me anymore? He's like, no, I physically can't tell you. You have to guess. I told you already. You just need to remember shit. And she's like, well, I don't remember shit. And then she does. Yeah, then she has the dream that she had in the first book when she first learned that Edward was a vampire from Jacob, where he mentioned that his people are werewolves, or like as
they're descended from wolves or something like that. Yeah.
Yes, and then she's like, wakes up and she's like, Jacob's a werewolf, and she's like, that's so weird. And then she's like, why is that weird? Edward's dead, and I want to fuck him. Why is my best friend being a wolf weird? I guess it's not, but Jacob's eating people. So then she goes to Jacob and she's like, Jacob, you don't have to eat people anymore. I can help you. Also, Bella is like this, like there's twice in this where I'm like, Bella has very questionable ethics, like aside from, like thinking it's okay to use Jacob, etc. Like in this one, she's like, but he's my Jacob, and I can be fine with him killing people if I have to be because I need him in my life.
Because like, Edward left me.
That thought process. And then later on, she's like, what if Edward had been like a human drinking vampire when I met him? Would I still love him? And then I decided, yes, I would, because love isn't logical. And I'm like, so you would... You believe that you would fall in love with a sociopathic killer because soulmates?
I mean, we all stand Damon. Like, I'm just...
But he has to redeem himself a shit ton before she gives him time of day.
That's true.
I would give him time of day without him redeeming himself, but that's
true
me.
As well. That's just me. Honestly, after he fully gets redeemed, he's not as much fun.
That said though, there's a difference though. Would you fall in love with him when he's out killing people on the daily, or would you just want to bone him?
The second.
Yeah.
I would be like, hi, Ian Somerhalder. How you doing, friend?
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Take me now and then kindly don't kill me on your way out.
Yeah. But anyway, so Bella is like, hi, you're a werewolf. And so then he tries to tell her as much as he can without betraying the pack because it's like he physically can't discuss things.
And then he's like, oh, we're chasing off a red-haired vampy vamp. And she's like, that's Victoria. She's after me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, he reveals to make the back.
Yeah, he reveals that they killed their aunt.
Yeah. And we also find out in this scene that when the wolves are in wolf form, they can telepathically communicate to other wolves in wolf form.
Yeah.
And Jacob pledges the pack to protect Bella.
And some of the pack are like
not okay with this at all.
Yeah. Well, because they get in the pack, Jacob gives them no warning that Bella's coming, and then they get there and they're like, "You told her," and he's like, "She guessed. What do you want me to do?" And then the wolves, the wolves in this, it's like almost like maybe not instantaneous, but pretty close to instantaneous transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jacob, it's like in the movie, Jacob does a leap and then is a wolf by the time he lands.
Yeah.
So Jacob and Paul have a bit of a scuffle, and then Sam's like, "Get her back to Emily's," and then he goes off after them to referee. And Embry, Jacob's friend that joined the cult before him, is there, and another one. So there's 5 wolves now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the other 2 and Bella go back to Sam's house where his missus is, and they're like, honestly, why did it have to be why couldn't they tell her what not to stare at? Because they're just like, don't stare at Emily, it makes Sam upset, and gave her 0 else to go with, and she's like, okay, fine, not even asking why. She doesn't even ask why.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious why once you see her, but
I know, but
like the morning is nice.
If you don't want
her face is fucked up.
Yeah, just be like, look, being like learning to be a wolf was hard enough for us, and we had Sam to help us. He had no one, and things got a little bit complicated once, and now Emily has a bit of a jacked up face.
But he loves her, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Because
we don't find out about. Okay, so imprinting doesn't get mentioned in this book. It's the next book where we get all the imprinting for.
But so Jacob and Bella get back to their ways.
Yep. So they're all good now. Bella is now spending as much of her time as possible in La Push and Charlie, which is fine because Charlie is best friends with Jacob's dad, and then there's also Harry Clearwater, who is another Indian on the reservation type thing. Native American on the reservation. The Quileute.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm wondering if the law is actually in line with the Quileute's law.
Let's Google.
Because
that's not what that is.
Quileute, I'm guessing Jacob's Quileute purely because it's close to Forks, which, and she picked Forks for some reason.
Because they're like from there. Yeah, they're in La Push, Washington.
But do they have werewolf legends associated with them?
Honestly, if they don't, I think that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just more curious.
Yeah.
But
I think one thing that's easier is to just
that is real.
Oh, is it?
Excellent.
Yeah, they have a legend that they used to turn into wolves.
Okay. Well,
that's actually really interesting.
Yeah, that's really
know what? Stephanie Meyer, honestly, how sad is it that a Mormon, a white Mormon middle-aged woman,
did better than people
with Native American law than the Native Americans? Specific, not overall general. Specifically.
Well, the Native Americans couldn't even get right where the Cherokee and Creek are from.
Yeah, no. And they acknowledge that the Trail of Tears happens in their world. So it's not.
Well, I will say one thing about lore, something that can sometimes be easier, at least for magical purposes. At least what I did was I was like, so I'm just going to ignore everything, and I'm just going to add in whatever the fuck I feel like.
Yeah.
Another an option as well is for example, Princess Diaries. She's the princess of Genovia. Genovia does not exist. You know what you could have done, PC and Kristen? Created a tribe. If you wanted to have lore that doesn't actually fit with reality while pretending that reality still happened, create your own tribe.
Yep.
And it's not racist because they're Native American. They can do that. It's fine. But they didn't.
So Bella wants to try cliff diving now.
Yeah. Yes, because Jacob is too busy trying to protect her to come and coddle her. So
yeah.
She's like, well, I'm going to go cliff diving all by myself.
Yeah, and Jacob's like, fucking no. But then, then she just fucking does it.
Yeah, Jacob, because there's also two. Okay, so there's a cliff, right? And there's a ledge here and a ledge here.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob was going to take her to this one. She's like, no, I want to go to the very, very top. And, I feel a storm brewing. She can literally feel the storm brewing. And she's like, she doesn't even think, storm on a beach sounds safe. So she jumps and she can hear Edward and he's like, why are you doing this? Swim, Bella, swim. And she's like, but it's too hard for me to swim. And so she starts to drown while Jacob.
Anyway, they learn
can swim.
Yeah, werewolves aren't too dense to swim in this one.
And then Harry, they get back. He takes her back to the reservation, and we find out that Harry dies.
While they're on the beach, that Bella looks out and sees the water, fire out in the water.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And she's like, oh, that's weird for fire to be out there. And then, Harry's dead. He had a heart attack, which is sad. I guess. Like, I don't really feel sad because we don't know Harry. We've met him, once or twice, and it was like, oh, I'll tell your dad to come fishing, you know.
Yeah.
I guess it's sad. Charlie is sad, which makes me sad.
Yeah, Charlie's upset. But then a wild Alice appears.
Yes, Jacob goes to drive Bella home, and then Charlie's not home yet, and so Jacob's driving Bella home, and he's like, nope, and keeps driving. She's like, that's Carlisle's car. Go back. And he's like, no. She's like, ah. And then they have a big argument. And he's like, well, if you want to suicide, fine. And shoves her out of the car, and he drives away.
And it's just Alice, so it's fine. And Alice is like, wait, you're not fucking dead? And she's like, no. And she's like, you didn't try to fucking kill yourself? And she's like, no, I just did stuff. I don't know.
She's like, she's like, you saw me fall off the cliff. And Alice is like, no, I saw you fucking jump because you suicided and you didn't come up. So what the hell happened? And she's like, oh, well, Jacob rescued me. And she's like, and what is a Jacob? She's like, well, he's a werewolf. And Alice is like,
ew.
Yep. And then we work out, Alice kind of works out in this book that she can't vision werewolves.
Werewolves, yep. And then so Alice stays for a bit, and Charlie's like, fuck yeah, at least she has fucking friends now. And it's a Cullen, so she's gonna be happy.
And Jacob's pissed.
Yeah, Jacob's very pissed.
And we find out that, like, Edward's off MIA somewhere. The Jasper is up in Denali, I guess, meditating. I don't know, he's doing some sort of mental health retreat in Denali with the other family to not eat people. And Edward doesn't know where Alice is. She told the others. Oh, she told Rosalie and the Carlisle and Esme are off they're off hunting. And she was like, don't tell Edward though. And they're like, okay. And
so
then
what does Rosalie do?
Yeah,
tells Edward.
Yeah. So while Charlie is at the funeral for Harry, Jacob rocks up and Alice is like, I'm gonna go because this is gonna be a problem. So I'll be back when he leaves. So she fucks off. And Jacob comes in, they have a little bit of a tiff, and then he almost kisses her, and then the phone rings. And Jacob, like the dick he is, picks up a phone in somebody else's house while the resident is standing right there. And he's like, and Bella just hears him go, Charlie's not here, he's at the funeral. And then the phone hangs up, and she's like, who the fuck was that? Rah, rah, rah. And he's like, oh, it was Carlisle. And then Alice comes getting back in, and she's like, what the fuck happened? Edward's about to kill himself.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's going to do what you alluded to.
Carlisle. Yes. So Alice is like, we got to go. We got to go. You have to come with me, Bella, because he won't believe my thoughts if I yell it at him. So,
yeah. He has to actually see you.
And Jacob's like, you can't go. And then Bella and Jacob have a big argument. And she's like, you're not the boss of me. I have to save him. And Jacob's like, well, fuck you. And leaves.
So she just casually goes to Italy.
Yep.
Yeah, so they go to Italy. And Alice does a car theft. She steals and this car, not this specific car, but the model. And if my memory serves, color comes back next book because Edward buys it for her. But they drive to. What is actually the name of the place again? I know it's the Volturi, and they live in Volterra.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So they drive there. There's a festival. Alice is like visioning the whole way. The Volturi are like, no, we're not going to kill you. So Edward's like, well, I'm going to be a drama queen and step out into the sun at midday. So they have
in front of all the humans. Yeah.
So like down to the second, thank goodness Edward decided to be a drama queen. Because he's already starting to sparkle by the time Bella crashes into him. So they get there. Alice is like, you got to run because it's a very sunny day and I'm a vampy vamp, so you got to do it. So,
you know, I just want to say, even if someone saw you sparkling,
I just assumed they put like glitter lotion on.
Like even if you were, especially at a festival, I don't know that anybody would be like
a festival celebrating the demise of the vampires.
I think somebody would be like,
I think they're taking the sun.
You get your body glitter.
Yeah, I would look at if I saw a shirtless guy walking around at a vampire vanquishing festival, I'd be like, I think you're taking the sun analogy a little bit too far, but that glitter is dope.
Yeah, right? I wouldn't give a shit.
I would be like, where did you get your body glitter and where do I buy it? Like, what the fuck?
I will say, though, the way that it is described in the books, and, it sounds kind of nice. In the movies, the glitter thing, the sparkling in the sun.
Like they just hand encrusted like Swarovski crystals, like one by one all over his body.
I will say this.
It looks ridiculous.
Part of me is also like, even though like the way that they describe it in the book, especially in the first movie, I'm gonna say this. In the first movie, it's like barely noticeable.
Yeah.
Like, and even in the second movie, it's not that noticeable. Like, I don't think they did it enough. I think they
honestly, that's one of those things that I don't think you actually can do without it looking like. Honestly, it might be described as really pretty. Bella's like it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I think somebody sparkling from every crevice of their body, from every inch of their skin, just sparkling. I think it would look really freaking weird.
Well, that's the thing is like
he's not glowing.
In my head, he looks like he just has on body glitter.
Yeah,
which. Like, okay, it's
a bit gay.
Yeah, this is gonna sound like you might look a little like James Charles-y, but like no one's gonna
give a shit.
Like you might look like you bought a Jeffree Star product and smothered it all over you because he has like this body glitter thing that you can it's literally body highlighter. So you might look like you smothered that all over your body.
Well, the way that Bella describes it, it's kind of like like when light passes through diamond and like refracts everywhere, makes little rainbows everywhere. That's what it's supposed to look like.
But you could do that,
which isn't helping it might make him look like he's a little bit like Jeffree Star, like surrounded by rainbows.
But that's also something that like look, it'd be really over the top, but it's also an effect you could, especially if you have clothes on, like it's an effect you could definitely achieve.
All they would have all they would have to do for like damage control would be like, look, he rolled around in some glue and like he smothered himself in glue and then rolled around
and then he rolled around in hollow glitter.
I'd do it.
Hollow, like he got hollow sickness.
He got hollow sickness.
He got hollow sickness. Like that's all they have to say. Like,
but
anyway,
he was infected.
But Bella gets it just in the nick of time.
Yep.
Okay.
Shoves him back inside.
And I'm gonna wait. Ed, would you? Because I not everyone.
Sorry, now that I think about it, all you'd have to do is have on hollow body glitter, and now I want hollow body glitter.
They haven't been able to make it right yet.
I know.
Christine's tried.
It's sad. Well, that's like hollow makeup. Has she tried hollow body glitter?
I mean, I'm assuming it's pretty similar.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Are you making us look at Edward without a shirt on?
Yes.
Okay.
And I will say
Why would you do that, Mara?
You know what though? Some of the stills look nowhere near as freaking weird. Like I think they just literally needed to wait like a couple years for his body to not look so freaking weird, and it would have been fine. What the fuck is that?
What is it?
Sorry, I'm gonna share my screen. This Photoshop is just amusing me.
What is it? Share with the class.
I'm waiting for the page to load. Give me a second. There we go. Share.
That is horrible. That's horrible.
But here we go. There we go. Let's open you in a new tab, shall we? So you're bigger. That is a really weird body.
It looks like they painted on his abs in post.
They did. Oh, actually, they didn't do it in post.
But can you?
Oh, they just did it
where he's actually like in the sun and sparkling because I just want to. Is that?
Say like they paint
one of them.
Yeah,
no, they. Oh, that's paint. Oh, that's.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't get any bigger. Damn it. Oh, it's a GIF. It's a GIF.
It literally, it's just highlight. Like, he's not even sparkling.
I'll see if I can find Edward Twilight Sparkle.
Twilight Sparkle. Oh, no. This is going to be like...
Oh, wait. Here we go. There you go.
This isn't even my final form. Jesus Christ.
But anyway, this is apparently what he's supposed to look like.
See, that would be more dramatic.
That would be.
Oh, great. Headphones again. What was that, sorry?
Like, that would be more dramatic, and it would be harder to explain. But someone sparkling at a festival is not like...
Yeah, like... Where? Okay. Yeah, this one, he just looks wet.
Yeah, right?
And it also, like you said, it just looks like body glitter. Like, I'm not...
Can you... Oh, wait. There we go. This one actually... Yeah, that would be explainable.
Yeah, he was wearing body glitter.
He just threw on some glitter.
Like, so much highlight, you guys. It would start a fucking trend, is what it would do. Like, it would just start a bunch of makeup. Like, it would be a lot of makeup videos, but that's about it.
I will say, though, imagine, let me go back to this. Imagine having to be shirtless in the same movie as that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, poor Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
Oh, Jacob. I just want to see if it's as bad as I remember.
It is. It is as bad as you remember. It is just as bad.
What's like okay, but what about New Moon? Didn't they change it for New Moon? Isn't that it?
Yeah, this one.
That's not as bad.
This one's not as bad.
From some angles, it actually looks so. It looks.
I'm just happy they finally got rid of it. I'm just happy.
From some angles, it looks something. I don't know. Looks fine.
Is that like an SNL skit? Yep. Okay, I see. Lol.
Yeah, but okay. Also, so yeah, this is Nikki Reed after she stopped
bleaching her skin, and then that one's her bleaching her skin.
Like this one, she's not really any paler than she is normally, whereas that one, yeah, she was bleaching her skin every 2 days. And her hair.
That's awful that they had her do that.
Yeah, she was bleaching. She might have done it for the second movie as well. I can't remember. But definitely at least from the third movie, she stopped. She was like, no, I can't do this anymore. I'm already Rosalie. Too bad. You're stuck with me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. So Edward is like, oh my god, you're alive, yay.
Well, she's like, oh, Paula, I was right, I'm in heaven. And she's like, no, you're not dead. I'm here. And he's like, oh, fuck, I'm okay, fine. And then, yeah, Volturi appear. And Alice.
But before that, he's like, we're together now. It's okay. It's like insinuating that they're just gonna get back together now.
But also, whatever. Like, have we not dealt with the problem of your brother wanting to? Okay.
No, we haven't.
Bella, in Bella's head, right, Edward is literally just like, touching her all over and kissing her and stuff, but she's like, oh, well, we're all going to die soon, so I guess he's just like one last fling for all time's sake before we get killed. And it's like, Bella,
and then they're brought before the Volturi. And this is when they're like, oh, Bella, you have this weird thing about you. Let's test it. So then they just start testing it on her. They start testing like the different people's
I will say one thing. This scene, I didn't mind the narrator with one thing. Ara laughing.
Yes.
Yeah, she did a good Ara laugh.
I will say what is a little weirdly inconsistent is how the powers like work and don't work on Bella.
It's meant to be physical versus psychological.
Then why can Alice see her in visions?
Because Alice sees the physical world. Like her visions she's not seeing people's thoughts or anything.
But she can't see Renesmee, can she?
Physical outcome.
Yes, she can. She can see Renesmee and Jacob.
Yeah,
she can't. She can't see Jacob or Renesmee. That was just in the movie.
Oh, okay.
And her theory is because she can see humans okay. She can see vampires really well. And her theory is she was once human. She is now vampire. So that's what she can see.
Yeah. So let's see. Oh, they're like, do you want to join the Volturi when you become a vampire? And she's like, fuck, no.
Yeah. So Aro can, if he touches you, he can see every thought you've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the twins. We only find out what Jane's power is in this book.
Yes.
Which is she causes you debilitating pain.
Mm-hmm.
We find out one of the other like main three Volturi can read people's relationships. Like they see relationship links. I guess. I think it was that. And then one of the other people that work for them is like a mystical tracker.
So could they sever an imprint?
I don't know if he can.
Doubt it. Because it's a werewolf.
Yeah, but Jane's power, I think, works on werewolves.
It does.
And so does Edward's and stuff like that. So I think it depends on the power, and I think it's all subjective.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess a thought, like...
yeah, I don't know that I don't think we ever really find out anything else about the power. I think it's just mentioned in this scene and it's never mentioned again. And it doesn't say whether or not he can influence them. He can just sense them.
Yeah, and then Arrow decides to let them live because Alice shows him a vision of Bella becoming a vampire.
Yeah.
And they're free to leave, but she must be turned soon.
Yeah. Because the first and only rule of being a vampire, vampires don't expose the vampires.
Mm-hmm.
And they broke that rule by letting Bella know that they're vamps.
Yeah. So they were going to kill her, and Edward's like, but you have humans working here. So they're like, okay, well, you have to turn her at some point or kill her, or we will.
Yeah, and soon. So they get back, and Edward's in her room. Oh, yeah, Charlie's
hella pissed.
Yeah, because she just fucking yoted.
He's at a funeral.
Comes back and his daughter's in Italy.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed.
I'd be pissed too.
I'd ground my fucking
she'd be locked in her room. She'd be getting homeschooled for the rest of senior year.
I would be like, look, when I said get a fucking life,
I didn't mean
go to a different continent.
Yeah. So we don't really get to see too much of Charlie's anger yet because Bella's like passing out, and then she wakes up and Edward's there, and she's like, "You left me," and he's like, "I didn't think." He's like, "You believed that I didn't love you so quickly. That kind of hurts." And she's like, "But I'm not good enough for you." And we get the whole.
It's just a big them making up.
Yeah.
They make up.
Yeah. And he's like, "I will never leave you again." And she's like, okay, please don't. It's like, unless you ask. And she goes, I will never ask. And then she's like, oh, crap, Daddy's here. So then Edward goes and hides in the closet. And Charlie's like, you're never seeing him again, blah, blah, blah. You're going back to you're moving to Jacksonville. And Bella's like, nope. No, I'm not. And he's like, well, you can't stay here anymore. And she goes, that's fine. I'll just go and live with the Cullens then. And he's like, but you're a child. And she's like, I'm 18. I am grounded, but I'm staying here. And if you don't like that, I'm living with the Cullens. And
yeah.
If my child, even if they're 18, if my child started to be like, in high school, started to try and dictate to me what the terms of them living with me were, I'd be like, okay, well, you can leave.
Yeah.
I'm like, you want to go be a grown-up? Go be a grown-up. If you like, Charlie, you do not allow your child to be grounded. They allow, like, Bella is only grounded because she is allowing Charlie to ground her.
Yeah.
And she's not even really that grounded because the rules are she can go to school, she can go to work, and Edward's allowed over.
Or he'd just sneak in anyways.
But he's still allowed, but he, like, as far as Charlie's aware, Edward is still allowed in the house.
He wouldn't be allowed in my fucking house.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you were catatonic because of this motherfucker. You need to learn how to be a fucking human being, Bella.
Yeah, and
if I were him, I would have shipped her off to Jacksonville.
Oh, I honestly, what I would have been freaking doing is having her checked into a psych ward.
Yeah, one of the two.
Like, and he has grounds too. Like, you know, her boyfriend dumped her. She went catatonic. She didn't talk to anyone. And then when she did start actually, you know, interacting with the world, she was doing things that almost killed her multiple times. And then I'd come home from a funeral and she's taken off to Italy because Edward's sad. I would be checking her into a mental institution.
Yeah.
But no, he's just like, okay, well, I guess if you're going to hold me hostage and, you know, to keep you in my life, I guess I'll be your hostage, Bella, lord of the house. Because Bella's just a bitch of a person as well. Who says to their parent, like, honestly, no decent child would actually, with a good parent, Charlie is loves her. He's never done anything wrong by her. And she's just like, well, if you don't let me have my own way, I'm leaving and never coming back.
If you don't let me see my boyfriend
outside of school,
not something like if you don't stop beating the shit out of me, you know, nothing like that. You know, nothing like not even something like if you don't stop yelling at me, you know, something that might warrant that, you know.
Yeah, if you don't let me see my boyfriend whenever and however I want,
who is clearly not good for me.
If you can't survive without your boyfriend by your side, it is not a healthy relationship.
I don't care if you like him. This is bad.
Then the Cullens put it to a vote on if they're going to turn Bella or not, which I don't know why they do that because they already know that they have to. But they vote and they vote to do it. And Edward's like, fine, we have to get married.
Yeah, Edward and Rosalie are the only ones that vote no. Edward because he wants Bella to be human. Rosalie's like, because I wish someone would have voted no for me.
Yeah. But also, literally, the Volturi were like, if you don't do it, we will kill her.
Yeah. But,
so Rosalie and Edward were like, we want to kill you.
I mean, Edward does have like counters to that. He's like, well, like soon to the Volturi is like in 100 years, which like I guess could be true.
But you don't know that for sure.
Yeah, and then Edward has decided that maybe Dimitri's tracking power won't work on Bella, so he won't be able to find her. So they'll just hide her in the closet when they come and knocking.
But you don't know that for sure either.
No.
Exactly.
Why would you take this risk?
And then he gets the shits with Carlisle. Like Carlisle's like, it's about to vote yes, and Edward's like, no. And Carlisle's like, look, you've made it very clear that you will kill yourself if and when she dies, and you're my son. I can't have that. So yes, I would like her to live forever, please, because I love you.
Yeah. So when they get married,
can someone check Edward into a mental institution?
Yeah, it's not appropriate to kill yourself when your girlfriend of 6 months, who you've also been broken up with for another 6 months, dies.
Yeah.
That is not an appropriate response.
Look, look, you know what? Maybe there's like very specific cases, but in the vast majority of situations, when your significant other meets an untimely demise, it's the appropriate response is not to off yourself, okay?
No. Plenty of people are well, not happy to, but plenty of people do just fine being widowed. And their relationship lasted a lot longer than, 6 months.
So then it all ends with a big fight between Jacob and Edward and Bella, because Bella's like, I want to become a vampire. And he's like, well, if you do, like, the truce is broken between us and the Cullens. So then you're an enemy, bitch. And that's practically it.
Yeah, like there is the loophole in it, which they use in Breaking Dawn anyway, because the truce, even if the truce had been broken in Breaking Dawn, it would have been fine because a new alliance was built based on Renesmee. But they still, even if that didn't happen, the truce still would have held because Bella was never bitten.
Yeah.
She was injected.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know why, like even next book, the entire next book, like it's just like, how am I going to be a vampy vamp if the truce? And
they get around it, so.
Yeah, they could have. It just annoys me because it just creates a thing that didn't need to be an issue because the wording was bitten. But
it could have just been like turn someone into a vampire.
Yeah, and Jacob drops off Bella's bike at the house because he thought it would ground her and like it would get her grounded, and so she couldn't spend time with Edward. And Bella's like, I'm already grounded, you dick. And he's like, oh crap, my bad. I didn't foresee you being grounded and still being able to see your boyfriend.
Because apparently Jacob has a brain.
Yeah, right. Someone does.
Yeah, like most people when they're grounded aren't allowed to see their boyfriend outside of school. Unless they hold their parents hostage.
I know that would have been the case for me.
Yeah. When I was grounded, I got grounded in the traditional sense of, no social life outside of school hours, please.
I didn't have a car, so I was never grounded because I didn't need to be.
I've never been grounded.
I got grounded before being grounded significantly altered a social life. Like, I think the last time I was grounded, I was like 10, and it just meant no TV. And I'm like, that's fine. Yeah. I don't like TV anyway. I'll read my books. And my parents were like, but that's not really a punishment because you do that anyway. But we can't take your books away because, like, that's rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when I got in big trouble, I was like, the last time I got in really big trouble, I was like 11. They took like toys and stuff away from me. And then they bought me books. They bought me the Morganville Vampire series, and the rest is fucking history. And they spent thousands of dollars on books, got into House of Night, and now here we are today. Yeah. So in a way, they almost regret it because they spent so much money on books after me getting in trouble. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, you can have your toys back now. And I was like, I don't want them. Can I have more books? And they were like, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it much harder to like punish your kid if they like reading, because most parents aren't going to be like, we're going to take away your ability to develop your literacy skills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Parents don't do that because it's stupid. So if your kid's really into reading and you ground them, what are they going to do? The exact same thing they're doing yesterday. Reading.
And then if you take away like their other sources of entertainment and then they get into reading, it's like, well, it's backfired. But I guess in a good way, but still.
Yeah, it's like your punishment is nothing changes. Or it changes for the better.
Which I guess is a positive.
But it's still not a punishment.
Yeah. Yeah. I learned nothing, I'm going to be honest. I learned that reading was fun. Other than that, I learned nothing.
So you only gained.
Yeah, I didn't learn my lesson. My lesson was supposed to be that not doing your homework was bad.
And instead it was like, I get to read Morganville.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
I'll never do my homework again.
I mean, I started doing some of my homework, but at the same time, I was like, some homework is still dumb.
Oh,
and I can still pass tests, so.
Yeah, I barely did homework.
I
did when I was doing my HSC because that was half of, like my HSC grade.
Honestly, the school that we went to, I think taught me, and Addie, you might be able to back me up on this, was how to do the least amount of work, but do it very efficiently so that you still get an A.
Yeah.
It was how to be an efficient, lazy person.
Yeah.
And how to do things really fast.
Yeah, how to do things really fast and how to be really fucking efficient and still get an A and just work smarter, not harder, kids.
That didn't work in year 12 for me, which it's a bit late to learn how to have an efficient homework structure in year 12. But because the way high school is here is what you guys have your midterms, your finals, and your SATs, and that kind of is that what goes to college?
Yeah.
Well, midterms and finals don't. Just SATs and ACTs.
Just SAT, that's it. Just one test.
Yeah.
ACTs too.
Okay. Well, here we have the HSC, which is year 12, and 50% of your HSC comes from your classwork and assessments, and then the other half comes from your actual HSC exam things. So we don't get our HSC results until about 3 or 4 months before we start uni. So we can't start applying to uni until after that happens.
Yeah, you have to start applying in the first semester of your senior year.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
we don't.
And you usually want to start taking the SAT in your junior year to kind of get a feel for it.
And the last time you want to take it is the summer before your senior year.
Some people will start their sophomore year, but that's the crazy people.
Calm down.
Yeah. Also, just real if anybody ever watches this, but I do have some, as a history major, some research paper tips for people for efficient researching if you ever need them. Just the easy way to do things. Number 1, primary sources are usually free online. You usually don't have to use a database to find them. You can usually Google them, and they're typically free. Second thing, if you want
or your school will provide them.
Yeah, or your school will provide them. Primary sources are actually super easy to find if you're not using a database. Databases suck, they're inefficient, and you're going to spend hours tearing your hair out. Second thing, Wikipedia is your best friend. Obviously, don't cite it, but you can look your thing up, look on Wikipedia, check the citation links, because the citation probably leads to the database you were searching for, and it leads to the article that you were going to find anyway. It's going to lead to several of them. It's going to lead to those books. You can cite those articles. Moreover, you can get that article through your school's database. That article is going to have citations at the bottom of it. So you can cite that article. You can also go look at the articles that are cited within that article. All of a sudden, you're in a research rabbit hole. And that is the efficient way to do research. You're welcome.
Yeah, I don't know why people have, I know in terms of more subjective stuff, Wikipedia can be incredibly biased and stuff like that. But in terms of as a starting point, I don't know why people hate it so much.
It's a great starting point. And here's the thing. I know that when it comes to if you are doing a really serious thing, you're an actual researcher or whatever, obviously, but if you're in college, undergrad, writing papers, and by the end of the semester, especially for me, 4 history classes, I'm writing 4 papers. I got fucking shit to do. I don't have time for this. So I'm not going to spend 40 hours
searching for the articles that are linked in the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, exactly. Because those are the articles I'm going to find. So that is the easiest way to do it. And those are the articles you're going to find. You're probably going to find better articles and better books that way. And also, you're going to find because it's cited correctly, you're going to find where in the article the information you need is, because it's already cited at the bottom of the Wikipedia page. And for example, the history journal that everybody trusts is JSTOR. Everything about history that's cited on Wikipedia is JSTOR. which is exactly what you want.
And sometimes as well, like Wikipedia is also good in the sense of like when you're having to do a paper or something, it's good to get just a general gist of set events in your head. And reading the Wikipedia page will give you the general gist of what happened, and then for the further detail, etc., for your paper. That's but like you've got it in your head when you start sources.
And definitely, you know, once you find a couple of good papers, look at the citations in those papers. Like look at that stuff and then go from there.
Spider web.
Yeah, like it's a rabbit hole, and that's all the research you have to do. Because like I said, you know, you're not writing a peer-reviewed paper. You're writing a 10-page research paper. Don't make it this hard. Like, don't make it hard on yourself.
And do not cite Wikipedia. Use Wikipedia to find the things that you will cite.
Yeah, use the Wikipedia to find the citations. I mean, it's genuinely the easiest way to do it. And I don't feel like it's cheating. I feel like it's faster. Also, you wind up with way more citations because there was like the smartest guy in our history department hated my guts because of this, because he knew I was a lazy piece of shit. And he would read like entire books front to back, wind up with like 7 or 8 citations. I would have like 18. And he would be like, "Did you read this entire book?" And I'd be like, No, I didn't even open it. I cited it though. He was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Wikipedia trick." And he was like, "What the fuck?" He was so mad because we would get the same grade on the paper and I didn't read the book. He was upset with me. I didn't care because it works out.
It is what it is. Honestly, whatever helps you get get accurate information that you can also use, like fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not writing a peer-reviewed paper. Yeah, just roll with it.
It's fine.
Do yourself a favor, man.
It's fine.
Yeah. Just like that's my biggest piece of advice for research papers is quit driving yourself crazy, because these things, like those databases, do not work like Google. You could type in keywords that match the article you're looking for and it will not pop up, but you can bet you're behind something about gerbils will.
Yeah.
So, you know.
But anyway, that was New Moon.
It was ending on gerbils. So we'll do eclipse next in this, but we're also doing. What book are we doing?
There's the prequel, like there's the novella, which is like fuck all. That's called Hunted, I think, and then Lion's Den or Lion's Share or something. I think the first one is, which is Wildcats, which is the spin-off series to the Shifters series.
Yeah.
So we'll be starting that soon.
On Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we said Wednesday.
Okay. I'll have to double check that I can.
If Wednesday doesn't work, that's okay. We can do something. We can do it.
Yeah, we'll work it out.
We'll work it out. But yeah, so that's what we're doing next. And with that, we will see you guys